I've tried over 150 AI tools, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you the top 4 tools that I use on a day-to-day basis that save me 20 to 30 hours per week. In a few minutes, you're going to understand and learn these 4 tools and ultimately help you streamline your daily activities. So the first tool I want to talk about is Google AI Studio. Now, Google is becoming a real superpower within the AI ecosystem. And the reason is because the vertical integration is no joke, right? You have so many tools now within their suite that you can actually start just using them all to build products, to ship quickly. And it's really, really interesting, right? I think the future, to be honest, is going to be the Apple and Samsung debate, right? Where you're going to have Google has, their own tools, OpenAI is going to have their own tools, and it's going to be kind of like a feel thing. But the more I use Google, the more I start to really enjoy it. And as you can see here, again, it's just simple plain English. I don't even write anymore. I'm just really going to voice, and we can just see through here. So remove the menu at the top, change the subline above the fold to the future of customer service. Please remove this new release, right? It's all very, very simple language, and this thing just one prompted my landing page. Now, yes, it can be improved, obviously, but this shell gets me 85% of the way there. So I used to spend hours, and marketers used to spend weeks, working on funnels, developing, writing copy. And I'm going to show you a copywriting trick here very, very shortly with tool number 4. So stay tuned. By the way, if you like this type of content, just please consider subscribing. We are trying to grow this community. And if you want to be on the cutting edge of AI news, AI tools, please subscribe. I think you'll like it here. And if you ultimately want to cut down your time and to make more cash, this is definitely the place for you. So subscribe. Now let's just get back to the video. But it used to take hours and weeks to make funnels, to make sales copy, to make sales videos, sales letters. And now with the power of AI, we are moving at a lightning speed, all right? Very, very quickly. So this is amazing. And all I really have to do here is I can either deploy app, I can, save it to GitHub. I can actually download the app, so then I can move it into Cursor, and I can actually use Claude Code, which I love to do. I like to come in here, really get the shell of things, and then start moving. But if you don't want to go into Cursor, by all means, this would be ready to ship. And this very, very, within minutes, this created this thing, right? And I just added some stuff to it. Again, I'm not going to ship this myself, but if you're a beginner, I remember I used to waste tons of time with websites, logos, colors, all this nonsense that really didn't move the needle. So now there's really no excuse. All you need to do is deploy, go to GitHub. You just need to host it, and then you just need to buy your domain and you can connect it. App number 2 is Gamma.app. Now, again, I consult for 6- and 7-figure businesses. I'm doing a lot of pitch decks, a lot of presentations, all sorts of that stuff. And if I was still in school, my goodness, Gamma would kind of just be a lifesaver, because I can just, with all the presentations, I can just use Gamma. But if you find yourself doing presentations, PowerPoints, these basically killed PowerPoints, this app is for you. So I was actually on a client call the other day, and this individual, for instance, had spent hours creating a pitch deck. And let's be honest, sometimes the pitch decks aren't that great. And so that's why you need someone coming in and be like, look, just give it to AI, right? And then the AI can develop most of it, and then you can just iterate on it. So there is no more, in the age of AI, there is no more writer's block, right? Like, don't come to me and say you have problems starting a project. There's none of that anymore. So what I love to do is I either generate with a prompt. I come in here and I basically just put in my prompt. I can even go to the LLM. I love going to LLMs and then asking, to help me build a prompt for a pitch deck for X, Y, and Z. I come in here and then you can present, you can go web page, you can do documents, you can do socials. Very simple. And I mean, this thing, let's just actually do it on the fly here. Create me a sales deck for a doctor. Now, I have a number of cards here, which is basically, again, how many slides. Let's just do 12 slides. I'm going to have it on default. You can do, the page styling. I just like default, and then English. Perfect. This is going to generate the outline. And this is actually going to give us some very cool stuff. Now, I do want it concise, very simple, and we can actually change the theme. So if you have, you know, if you have brand guidelines or if you have colors. So right now it just gave me the outline. I mean, great, this looked perfect. Again, we want it concise, very simple. A quick tip is that, you know, I've learned this kind of the hard ways with presentations. Jason Fladlin, one of the greatest webinar speakers out there, he absolutely crushes PowerPoints and presentations. He actually did one for Hormozi and Iman Gadzhi, is that it's one idea per slide. And I see way too much, is that, you know, every slide has so many ideas, it's not gonna work, okay? So, concise, we can change the theme, so don't worry about the theme, and then we want photorealistic, and then we're just gonna generate. And so what I usually propose to people, to even some of my clients, is that have an outline ready, right? Make sure you're pulling from credible sources. Make sure your facts are actually factual, and it all makes sense. And then you actually just come in here, and this makes the outline, right? Like, look at this. This is phenomenal. And you don't like the theme? That's fine. I can change the theme here right up top. Anything you're doing that is client facing, I come into Gamma. I use this thing like no tomorrow. I come into Gamma and I throw my outline into here, and this basically fixes it. And then I can come in here, I can play around with colors, I can make it look a lot better. Again, if you have brand guidelines, brand colors, you can throw those in. But it just makes it very simple. I mean, look at this. Within a matter of 30 seconds, we have basically a full-fledged presentation. When I was in Colombia, we actually we attended an AI conference. One of the individuals, one of the speakers, actually used Gamma for her presentation. I thought that was funny, and she obviously, I was like, she's smart, because she's not spending hours creating this presentation. So that is a game changer. Highly recommend. Try it out. This is paid, okay? But it is worth every dollar, and it's only, I believe, about $30. The next tool is Higgsfield. And so right now, obviously, there are a ton of LLMs that you can subscribe to, you can pay for. What I like to do is I like to go into an all-in-one tool, and I have found no better tool to do it than Higgsfield. As you can see here, I've created just a ton. Right now I'm actually working with a supplement brand, and I have to create actually some AI video. And so just watch this. Like this is actually amazing. Very lifelike. This is with Nana Banana. You know, so I mean, look at this stuff, right? And obviously I generate a few at a time because sometimes it doesn't pull properly. That's totally fine. But this right here, like, I mean, this looks fantastic. You would spend thousands of dollars. You need a photographer, you need a backdrop, you need lighting to come and do this type of shoot. Okay, now again, I just one prompted this thing. Would I finish here? No, but this again gives you 85% of the way there. That's the most important part. The most important part about this, all of these tools, is that it gets you like 85% of the way there. And then you have to come in and just fine tune some things. So Higgsfield is really cool. You have a ton, again, so it's an all-in-one platform for these LLMs. Okay, so if I want to create an image, I can come in here. I can basically drop an image. Again, again, very easy prompting, and the Nana Banana Pro will do the rest. The cool thing about Higgsfield, again, is I have access to all these tools. Switch my ratio. I can come in here to want higher basic. How many photos do I want? I can do video. So for instance, let's just check this video out. I made it for the sake of this video here. So I have a GTA. I made a master photo, which is basically the first frame. And again, you have a host. You can use Seedance. You can use OpenAI Sora 2, which is very popular, obviously. Let's go to Pro here. Let's just see what this created. Again, the prompt was an action-packed scene, and the camera starts to slowly zoom in on the main character as he looks backwards as the helicopter is shot down and crashes close to him. That's done. Not bad. That's done. Like, very cool stuff. And again, this saves me hours. So if you're doing anything creative, anything visual with imagery, usually the imagery honestly is like 98% there. Okay, like if you're using Nana Banana Pro, it's usually honestly 98% there. You might have to change a bit of the coloring, maybe a bit of the lighting, whatever, and you can obviously play around and get multiple variations, which I highly recommend. And then if you need some on the creative side, like on the video side does take a bit longer. So Higgsfield has been absolute game changer for me. I have a ton of credits. So I kind of just come in here and go crazy to get me that master image and to honestly help me flesh out a lot of content. So the last tool is Anthropic's Claude. Now, right now we're kind of in the race of LLMs. Like I said, Google's kind of winning the race with some of their image modeling. Personally, for me, I do like to use Claude for copywriting purposes. I find it's a better model. It's more creative. Now, really, this can be used for any model. You can use the free version. You can use Gemini. You can use ChatGPT. You can even use Grok. Grok, by the way, is very good at creative writing as well. But I like Claude. And so what I like to do here is this helps me kind of write the copy of a lot of these ads. But what I like specifically to do is have projects. And then here within the actual project, I can have all these tools. So I can have a bunch of photos, and then I can have certain prompts or certain advertising, right? Those are kind of proprietary or things I've paid for that really help move the needle. So they can reference the project, right? That's huge. So instead of just coming here and kind of allowing this broad scope that the LLM can pull from, I come in here, I create a project of a client, I create a project of a task, I put in some relevant resources, specifically copywriting tactics, PDFs, resources, all this other stuff, specific letters that I've done very well in the past. Use Claude or use anyone. I just like Claude because it obviously has those features, and now we can actually do skills, which is pretty cool. Those are the four main ones I am currently using. I will update you as soon as things change. Talk to you tomorrow.